As the man stepped on the landmine again, the recruits behind him were already paralyzed with fear. At this point, the officer, instead of being scared, showed his face full of ridicule. He then explained that it was an anti-tank mine. Even if an elephant were to fall on it, it wouldn't explode. After a false alarm, the troops returned to the road. But soon another recruit noticed something flashing on the roadside. When he got closer, he realized it was a dagger. He was just about to pick it up when there was a clattering sound at his feet. So his comrades rushed to call the officer. After checking, he found that the recruit had stepped on a Type 92 anti-infantry mine. If they weren't careful, the whole company would have been blown up. The captain told the soldiers to fall back. Then he said he'd move his feet on the count of 3 and he'd step on the mine instead. But the officer never realized that he hadn't even counted to 3 and the fearful recruit had just run away. Then the officer realized it was an anti-tank mine. This instantly gave her an idea of how to repel the enemy. So he asked the recruit to carry the anti-tank mine to the tunnel. They were ready to lay the mines according to the officer's orders. With the fast action of all the people who carried out the order, in less than 10 minutes, the whole tunnel was filled with mines. But just as they were setting up the detonators outside the tunnel, soldiers on sentry duty at the top of the hill suddenly realized that enemy tanks were coming towards the tunnel. The soldier immediately returned to inform his superior, but the officer hadn't finished the last stage yet. He had no choice but to tell the others to retreat first. He stayed behind to finish the last step, but this time, the recruits didn't want to leave without their commander. Luckily, the officer finished the last step very quickly. However, just as everyone was about to quickly retreat, the recruits suddenly realized that one of the wires on the wall had come loose. The captain had no choice but to return to the wiring. He pulled the recruits away and ordered them to retreat. But before he could reattach the fuse, the enemy army had already arrived in the tunnel. But the captain did not panic in the face of the enemy's guns, because he was wearing enemy clothing. So he immediately lied that he was their single officer. Seeing that several people were fooled, the captain immediately lied that he knew the enemy's location and led the way. Those who followed him didn't notice the bomb on the wall. They followed him out of the tunnel without any doubt. At this moment, the captain took a bottle of wine and drank it for courage. The comrades watching from afar became nervous. At this moment, the captain suddenly looked at his comrades to indicate that the other side to shoot. But his comrade was unwilling to abandon him and was ready to save the captain first. However, just as he was about to shoot and finish them off, enemy tanks were about to leave the tunnel. Seeing that his teammates are still reluctant to shoot, the captain did not hesitate to pull out a pistol to sneak attack. With the captain's glorious death, his teammates pressed the button and the tunnel collapsed. Seeing the heavy casualties, the enemy rushed into the tanks. They were going to use the last tank to attack, but the anti-tank mine blew up the track. But even with the broken track, he was able to move forward. He soon pushed the jeep out of the way. Then he turned the gun on the soldiers ambushed in the woods. The lieutenant rushed down the hill. He quickly inserted a grenade into the barrel of the gun. After blowing up the barrel, he climbed into the tank. He opened the sunroof and shot at the driver of the tank. After that, they launched a final assault. They won the ambush. Unfortunately, the captain, who used to joke with them and was always at the front line of the battle, left them forever.